Welcome to That'sCoolWire.com. In this video, and this is one that we should have done a really long time ago, we're going to show you how to actually wire up a costume. This is Lester, our mannequin. He's really a big help around here. So what we normally tell people when they call up is, I think there's a lot of confusion as far as, well, what pieces do I need and all that stuff. So the first thing we really try to tell people is, get visual with this stuff. So we're going to use yarn. We love to use like a colored yarn, any color that you can see on the fabric or costume that you're going to be using. So as we come in here, we'll see that we used a green yarn, and we kind of laid out a design. The reason we like to do that is when you stand back and look at everything, you can say, oh, that's exactly what I want. So to save time in this video, so it's not like 2 hours long, we already pre-wired the EL wire on here, and all we did was tape it on to save some time. So again, you lay out some yarn on your clothing. So if it's on you, have someone do it, and you can look at a mirror or take a picture with your phone. Or you can, if you're going to do it on someone else, then it's much easier for you to step back and see what the design looks like. Again, it's super simple. I'm going to just come down to this leg, and all we did was tape it. So it's as simple as getting your yarn, laying it out, taping it in place. You like your design, and now the very next thing that you're going to do is you're going to take this yarn off, and we have to measure it now. So when we come back, we're going to have a new piece of EL wire attached on here. We went ahead and we removed the yarn that was on this leg. So all we did is, again, removed it, we measured it, we cut the EL wire, and then we added it to the leg that had the yarn before. So to recap, everything here you're going to put yarn on it. Once you kind of like the visual look of it, then you say, you got it. Then we would, honestly, this is extremely important, snap a picture of it with your phone. So you have the image when you go ahead to put the EL wire back. Because once you remove the yarn, you're going to forget this pattern where all the curves were exactly. Or you can take like a little light marker, like maybe like a little white pencil marker, and sketch it out. But if you just take a picture of it, the bottom line is you just want to have some image of where the yarn was so you can put the EL wire there exactly. So I'm going to go down to this leg where the yarn was, and we just use clear packing tape for this one to save some time. So on this leg, we're just going to show you some different options of mounting the EL wire. At the very bottom, we use some fabric tape, and it's double-sided, so it sticks on the fabric, and then you can just stick the EL wire on there. It doesn't look very pretty, but you're not going to be wearing costumes typically when it's like broad daylight, so it's going to be dark out and you really won't see this. The other options are hot glue. Hot glue works well on some fabrics, but it doesn't seem to hold long term. But it is another option. We also use the super glue. You don't want to use the liquid one. You want to use the gel super glue, like a crazy glue. The liquid just absorbs into the fabric, but the gel gives you that gel and it bonds really quickly. So I think we like that one the absolute best. So we went from double-sided tape to clear packing tape, which works really well. Once the lights are down, you don't really see anything, especially for short-term uses, like maybe for Halloween or just when you're going to have a costume party and then you want to take the wire off. If you look really close, we left the ends of the thread here, but you can sew on the EL wire for more long-term permanent use. And then we have the safety pin. So we have different colored ones based on the fabric. We just put them on the outside, but you can actually run the safety pins from the inside, so all you see is the little pin arm right here and not the whole pin itself. But we just wanted to show you what safety pins look like. And then we just happen to find these clips around. So if you have any kind of clips that may work, so we just stuck these on here and shoved the wire in here. This may look kind of cool if this was part of maybe a costume where it was like Back to the Future, or it had different gadgets on it, so it could become actually part of the costume. So anyway, these are just some different options of how to mount the EL wire. What's next now is, once you have all your sections, we have to now add a connector to each section of EL wire, and that's what we're going to show you next. We now have the sections done on the costume. So now we're going to put connectors on the end of each section. So this is our Easy Snap connector. And I just want to kind of give you a close-up view. The camera kind of loses focus when Ramon and Brenda are going to actually add the EL wire. So I kind of want to show you what it looks like inside. So on this far side, there's two V's that the main part of the EL wire is going to be pushed down into, and you can kind of see that V. And I have a little bit of a section of EL wire right here. So the main section of the EL wire is going to actually be pushed down into that V. And then those two little hair thin wires that you see right there are actually going to sit on the other side of the connector on that metal plate. So at least you now kind of have a concept of when they're working, what they're doing. So we showed you how the wire sits inside our Easy Snap connector. So now we're going to have Ramon and Brenda actually strip the end of the EL wire, put it inside the Easy Snap connector. And they both do it kind of differently, but not so differently. So let's just watch. So here's Ramon starting off. He's dealing with the 2.2 EL wire, which has a thinner center core wire. He's stripping the outer jacket. And he'll just lay that on the table so we can see the little hair thin wires. So there's the center core wire and then the two little hair thin wires that are off to the side. So these are the hair thin wires and the center core wire. So now Ramon's taking the Easy Snap connector. He can just use his nails, pop the latch, and open the connector. When you're using the 2.2 or 1.4 EL wire, you can put the EL wire through both of the V's. There's two V's inside that connector. You just want to make sure the end doesn't stick out, and if you want to trim the end of it a little bit, you can. But as long as it's going to work, and Ramon has done this a million times, so he's got it set in there perfectly. He's put the two hair thin wires off to the side. Sometimes you want to twist those together, or sometimes they seem to separate, so sometimes you may just want to twist them so it seems like one wire. The whole concept is you don't want those two hair thin wires touching the other side of the plate. They need to be separated. So that's what that looks like right there. And now he's just going to take it and snap it shut. And it's as easy as that. So now we're going to watch Brenda. So Brenda's stripping the end of her wire. She's dealing with the 2.6 EL wire. So the center core wire is a little bit thicker. And now she's separating the two little hair thin wires. We'll just lay it down so you can see that. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Okay, so you can easily see the center core wire and the two hair thin wires. So now we're going to watch Brenda just do the rest. So where Ramon didn't have to trim his center core wire, Brenda did because she's dealing with the 2.6, and you can only go through one of the V's. Brenda also likes to use the little tool right here to open up the latch on the Easy Snap connectors. She finds it hard with her fingers. So she twists those two little hair thin wires, like we said, to try to create like one wire so it doesn't separate. I'm going to try to zoom in here. So now Brenda's going to take the needle nose pliers and push that wire into the V. And what that does is it pushes it into the V and it breaks the coating and makes a really, really solid connection. And now Brenda's going to grab those two hair thin wires, put them on that side of the plate so they don't touch the other metal plate. And it looks like she went through the V and bent it around, and now she's taking the needle nose pliers just to kind of make sure it's nice and tidy on that side to keep those wires on that side of the connector. And you can also see where the wire comes in at the end, where the jacket is of the EL wire. You kind of want to keep it even with the foam. It just gives it a really nice clean seal. So now Brenda's ready to close hers. And that's it. So that latch snapped, and that's really what it takes to put an Easy Snap connector on the EL wire. So the next thing we're going to see is Lester the mannequin with all the sections, and we'll show you how all the connectors have been put on already. So now that you have seen how we put the Easy Snap connector on EL wire, we have different sections now. So we have both legs, we have the torso, and both arms. So right here, you can see that we added the Easy Snap connector to the left leg. lift this up. Here's the Easy Snap connector to the right leg. Here's an Easy Snap connector that did the torso. In total, there's going to be 5 sections. You have 1, 2, 3, and then each arm is going to be, this is going to be 4, and then this is going to be 5. So what we did is we put an inverter inside one of our running fanny packs, which we sell. So they light up. They look really great at nighttime, keep you safe. What we're going to do is open this up, and we put the inverter inside. Coming off of this inverter, we went ahead and put a 5 output splitter. So this is plugged in here. This one has 5 outputs. So one of the outputs, and we just kind of cut a little hole on the bottom, went through the bottom here, and we connected one to the leg, connected the other one to the leg, we connected the third one to the torso. So that leaves us 2. So on these 2, we ran 3-foot extensions underneath the shirt, and here's what a 3-foot extension is. It's honestly just a wire with a connector on both ends, and we'll kind of put it on against the wall. So it has a connector on the top and a connector on the bottom. And if I hold it and I loop it, and so when you have the 5 output splitter, you're just going to take the extension and snap it into that, and then this is plugged into the inverter, so now we get power up through the shirt. So we just went up underneath, and we have 2 connectors underneath the shirt. So we didn't care on this one. We put a little teeny hole in the shirt right here so we can run the EL wire in here and then hide the connector underneath the shirt, and we also did the same thing on this side. We put a little hole right there. So I'm just going to flip down this part right here, and we can see that we have the 3-foot extension coming up. It's plugged in, and then this connector goes to this EL wire, and there's another one on the other side. So that's how we end up hiding and kind of keeping things clean. So now you have all 5 sections that are lit up. So we're going to put this inverter back. And we're going to close it. So here we are. Lester is all lit up. Your costume is done. We showed you how to start with the yarn, and then you go ahead and cut your EL wire lengths. You go ahead and attach the EL wire. You put your connectors on. You figure out how many splitters you need, some 3-foot extensions, and it really just design how you want to design it. You can either go really detailed, you can go multicolored, you can make the legs a different color, the body a different color. But you saw how we went ahead and used the 3-foot extensions underneath the shirt, and it just looks amazing. I mean, it's really clean looking, and it's easy, and you can't even really see the tape. It's just there when it's dark and you're lit up. Everyone's going to be focusing on just the overall design and not really how the EL wire is attached. But again, you can sew it on or use the clear gel glue, the super glue, and you won't see that either. And as we said, we sell the pack that you can go ahead and hide the electronics in, and that has a solid mode, and it also has a blink mode. So we really appreciate you watching this video. Hope you learned a few things with it, and if you have any questions, give us a call toll free, 866-435-9473. That's 866-435-9473, or visit us at thatscoolwire.com.